Well, hello, and welcome to another Discover Headless Tech interview from headlesscreator.com. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. As always, welcome to the show. This is episode number 2, and you can get a hold of me, as always. You can see right there below. For those of you listening on audio only, you can't see it, so I'll tell you. It's Marcelo at headlesscreator.com. Feel free to send me an email, comments, feedback, questions, whatever you like, anything you'd like to hear in the future. If you want to hear a specific interview, just contact me and I'll get back to you within 24 hours. Now, today we're going to have a chat, and no pun intended on that, but we're going to have a chat about chatbots and artificial intelligence with my guest, Jordi Torras. He's the founder and CEO of Inbenta. Now, before we get started, you're going to hear all about that, and we're going to get in deep into all that. Before we get started, I do want to tell you real quick about headlesscreator.com. And for those of you watching live, you can see it. For those of you listening on podcast, then just go to headlesscreator.com, create your free account, and you'll have access to a bunch of courses. For example, the content modeling course, where I model content on a constant basis. Headless CMS courses. I have 6 of them now, and Discover Headless Tech, which is not just the interview here that you are listening to or watching, but it's also how-tos and introducing you to various headless technologies that you should be aware of. So that's that. All right, well, enough of telling you about headlesscreator.com. Just go get your free account. What I'm going to do is, before I bring in Jordi, I do want to remind you that once you do get the account, this will be available on demand, probably in about an hour after the live broadcast is over. So make sure you get the account, sign in, and then you'll be able to listen to it. And of course, it'll be available on Apple Podcasts and all those other podcast services out there. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Jordi. Jordi, welcome.
Hey, Marcelo. Thank you for having me here.
I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, I'm in Southern California. Where are you located?
I'm in a city called Barcelona in South Europe that you
In
might
Spain.
have heard. That is correct.
Of course.
This is where I am right now. I live most of the time in the San Francisco Bay Area, but I'm enjoying a few weeks over here.
I got to tell you, now I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian now for, I would say, 9 years. But prior to being a vegetarian, paellas were one of my favorites. Now, do they have vegetarian paellas?
Absolutely. They are delicious, made of only vegetables.
Vegetables, tofu maybe?
Yeah, not tofu, but certainly not tofu, but certainly other vegetables.
I loved your reaction to the word tofu.
Tofu in a paella is like, wait, what?
Right. Well, they do some crazy stuff with tofu. They make it taste like chicken. It's like some incredible things they're doing. But anyway, people did not tune in to talk about tofu for sure. Maybe paellas, but not tofu. But real quick, before we jump into chatbots and AI, tell me real quick about your background. You're the founder of Inbenta, and you can tell me real quick about what Inbenta does.
Yeah, that's right.
But are you a developer by trade?
Yeah, I'm first born and raised here in this area called Catalonia. So I speak my mother tongue is a language called Catalan. I studied here. I studied in the University of Barcelona computer science. So I'm a software developer at heart, and I got specialized in artificial intelligence. And so for me, the idea of still now, many years after that, working and on what I studied and AI is literally a dream come true.
And we're going to jump into that, but it's getting closer and closer, aren't we? I mean,
yes, it's it's
amazing.
It's a complicated stuff because guess what? Humans are very complicated as well.
Yes.
But we're getting there.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to tell you real quick about a show you should watch, or you maybe watched it already. It's called Humans, and it's about humans and androids that become slowly humans and have self-awareness. It's on Amazon Prime. So I don't know if you saw it already, but
I have not seen that one, but I believe I've seen every other movie about
so check it out for those of you. Yeah. If you're,
Absolutely.
because you're going to love it because you're interested in artificial
Absolutely.
intelligence. All right, real quick, give us a quick overview, like a couple of minutes of Inbenta. What does Inbenta do?
Yeah, Inbenta is a company specialized in natural language processing, which is a field within the broader field of artificial intelligence. So what we do is we have this natural language processing, which is essentially making sure that machines understand humans. That's the whole thing about natural language processing or natural language understanding. That's what we do. We help our customers help their customers by providing automated solutions online.
I see. So obviously, chatbots, as they get smarter, will require all this artificial. I mean, they're simple chatbots, and we're going to get into all that in just a minute. But what is it that attracted you so much into artificial? Why did you focus on artificial intelligence?
Yeah, because I believe that that essentially when the first time computers were created, and you can trace back to Alan Turing and the first creation of what they call Turing machines, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was already thinking on how a machine could eventually be as intelligent as a human. And artificial intelligence, you could trace it back all the way to the starting of computing. So if you look at what Alan Turing did, you look at von Neumann did on the architecture, although they were, of course, very limited in terms of hardware, as you can imagine, right? If you go back 50 years ago, 90 years ago, but still their ultimate objective was to build intelligence. So I find this fascinating, and when I found that as an option in college, I got just trapped into it.
So, real quick, for those that aren't aware of or understand it properly, and I'm including myself in that, what is the difference between artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and machine learning? I mean, you have all these terms out there, right, that people throw. What is the difference? Is one a subset of another?
Yes, that's a very good question. So first of all, artificial intelligence would be the broader field, right? Artificial intelligence has been out there for a while, and you could define it as these things that at a certain point of time only humans can do. And that's artificial intelligence, which is a dynamic concept and therefore is tricky because when you build an artificial intelligence that works, then by definition, because machines are doing it, then is not considered artificial intelligence anymore. So let me give you an example. You take your car, you enter in a parking lot, you're going to see a camera. The camera is basically focusing on your plate, and the camera is going to read your plate. It's going to interpret the numbers, and it's going to know which car, the plate of your car. That when I was in college in the 80s, that was called computer vision, and that
Right.
was part of artificial intelligence. Now artificial intelligence is about cars driving by themselves. You don't think just reading your plate is like so simple. You don't
Right.
it's just but back in time that was a complex problem, as you might imagine. So that's artificial intelligence, which is all the techniques and methods to try to bring this intelligence to the computers. And in the past, you can look at expert systems and all genetic algorithms and a long list of techniques. Machine learning is one of those. So you can see machine learning as a subset of artificial intelligence. And then natural language processing is about understanding the human language, or better said, the human languages, which is both processed by machine learning and non-machine learning. So it's a little bit of complicated of overlapping areas, but that's essentially artificial intelligence is the big thing. Machine learning is a little bit inside. You can see NLP even deeper into that.
And this is really important because all these concepts are required for good chatbots, right? Chatbots are supposedly aren't just like if A then B. If it's more intelligence obviously into it. So how do chatbots learn? Let's talk about that, and then we're going to get into the details of how does a chatbot work from the backend perspective, right? Let's
Yes,
say you
yes.
want to add it to a headless CMS, but let's talk about in general, how do chatbots learn?
Well, the first thing is what is a chatbot, right?
Yeah.
The word chatbot comes from chat, of course, which is having talk, having a conversation, and robot. So you put all that together, so it's a robot that can have a conversation. And back to this Alan Turing guy, that's how he defined intelligence. Is basically the Turing test would be, Marcelo, let's say you have two computer terminals, totally text based, right? No webcam, nothing, just text based, and you can have a chat with an entity, and then you can have a chat with another entity. One is a human and the other is a machine, and
Right.
you can ask anything you want, and your mission is to tell who is the machine and who is the human. That's called the Turing test. The day that you are confused, the day that you cannot really discern who is the human and who is the computer, that's when, according to Alan Turing, we will have the true intelligence. And we are not there yet. You will see within the overall hype of artificial intelligence, you will see vendors that claim they have passed the Turing test. It's not true. It's, as at this point, is imagine the conversations that you are having, you and I, and you couldn't tell that I'm a person. Well, I am a person. So the technology is not there yet. So
Right.
that's a chatbot, the capacity to have these conversations. And how chatbots learn. Well, that depends a lot on how this chatbot has been implemented. And basically, what happens here is there are some chatbots that simply do not learn, and some others that learn over time to deal with questions better. But especially, at the end of the day, it's all about understanding what kind of conversations a chatbot can take, which conversations cannot take, and making sure that the chatbot is able to discern between the two.
So, so talking about conversations, right? It's conversations. It's not so simple because there's so much in conversations. There's intent. I may be telling you something. Oh, you're good looking, but I may be being sarcastic, right? So
That's right.
there's intent of there's tone, there's physical. So how does all this take come into account in a chatbot, right? If I'm for example, I'm on a website and I'm just unhappy with their company and I put in something, how does the chatbot know that? Are we there yet with chatbots where they can see intent as opposed to just the plain old what I typed in?
So the way that chatbots work today, and that's going to be virtually with every chatbot technology that you face, is based on, as you said, intents. But these intents are static. What you have to do is basically define, okay, my chatbot will be able to get intent number one, intent number two, intent number n. Let's use Siri, for example, right? You say Siri, hey Siri. I hope that she did. Okay, so
We heard it,
so
and that's why I keep away from the A word because I have her here too, and I don't want to say the A word. So
oh, she's okay. So in reality, there is a limited number of commands that she will be able to process, and you can play music, you can call someone, and there's a big list, but a limited list of commands. These are intents, and if you look at Siri, at the end of the day, if your question, if what you are telling her is not one of these finite set of commands, Siri is going to divert to search. It's going to use Google, it's going to use some other tool, but eventually say, hey, that's what I found about what you said on the internet. Meaning, I had no idea what you said.
right.
And therefore, I don't know what to do with it. And maybe there's something wrong